Right now, we're looking at final completion date before the end of the year. All right, come on. I need to point to something else. All right, now we're working. Okay. Next is Glen McConnell Parkway. This is widening Glen McConnell to a 6-lane divided roadway from Bees Ferries out to Magwood Drive. And this also includes the construction of a 10-foot multi-use path. Like I say, construction is underway. Right now, we're looking hopefully completion about May of 24 is our drop deadline for this project. Currently working on the eastbound travel lanes and the multi-use path. You probably see them doing some pavement. And I think we're getting ready to start some night work out there with some lane closures as well. And last is our Maybank Highway improvements. This really consists of the Northern Pitchfork project. This is going to be a new road connecting Maybank with River Road right through Fenwick Alley. Total project cost for this one is approximately $5 million. And they have finished installing the curb and gutter and base asphalt on the first phase, which kind of connects up with the Stono apartments there up to Fenwick Alley. And they are working on the last phase to connect up with River Road now. We've got an anticipated completion date of early in 2024. And then we got several projects that are getting ready to go to advertisement in about the next 90 days or so. First one here is Ashley Avenue at Congress Street. Again, this is a pedestrian safety project looking at pedestrian signal crossings, bulb outs, to help do some traffic calming there. We're looking at a construction cost of a little over $200,000. Currently preparing invitation for bids and anticipate advertising this project before the end of the year and starting construction after the first of the year.
All right.
Yes, that's the one section.
Okay, thanks.
Next is Ashley Avenue, Hugie Street. Similar project scope here with pedestrian signals, crosswalks, and curb bulb outs. Cost for this one is about $357,000. We're currently going through the permitting review with the DOT, and then we'll be going to the city's TRC committee for review and approval there. And there's another project we're hoping to advertise after the first of the year. Ashley Hall at Sam Rittenberg. This is extending some turn lanes on Ashley Hall onto Sam Rittenberg, and we're also doing some drainage improvements in the sidewalk there. Estimated cost for this one is about a little over $880,000. Again, we're currently working with the city and the DOT to acquire our necessary permits. And then we still have some easements we're going to need to obtain before we can go to advertisement. We have just recently met with the property owner. He seems agreeable there, so it should be a fairly quick process advertising for construction bids after the first of the year. For Calhoun Street and the James Allen Connector, this is widening of Calhoun Street along with some intersection improvements from James Allen's Connector all the way to Gadsden Street. Total cost for this project is almost $9 million. Right now, we're coordinating with Utilities, Dominion, and CWS for their relocation plans, and we've got to acquire right away from 10 of the remaining 11 tracks. Next steps are to wrap up the right-of-way acquisition process, anticipate advertising bids for this project again after the first of the year.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Certainly,
I've got
sir.
one too.
So I was told, I just want to confirm from the horse's mouth that project would include a drainage, kind of a monster check valve on that major outfall that's coming out, coming down Calhoun Street.
I'll have to double check on that, but I believe that's what we're doing currently with CWS coordinating that.
Terrific.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Is there some way we can get a schematic so we can see of this project? This one has a lot of people interested in it. I'd like to be able to show it to somebody.
Certainly. Look, I can get you some of that information, some graphics put together.
That'd be great. We call this the 4th Street project.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Certainly.
There's one more question, sorry.
How long?
Great.
Thank you. How long is construction on that expected to take?
A lot of it's going to be night work. We're looking probably about 1.5 years for construction.
Okay, thanks.
Country Club Drive and Folly Road. This is going to be installation of sidewalk along the east side of Country Club Road between Folly and the mid-block crossing. Again, it's about a $400,000 project here. Currently working to obtain our stormwater permits, and we anticipate advertising this project before the end of the year. Courtney and Doty Street. This is going to be a signal upgrade here, along with some pedestrian crossing signals and crosswalks. Estimated construction cost is approaching $175,000. Invitation for bid package is currently under development and getting ready to go to our procurement section, and anticipate advertising this project again before the end of the year. For our East Bay sidewalk project, this is some sidewalk along East Bay from Charlotte Street to the existing sidewalk at about 515 East Bay Street. About $190,000 construction cost. We actually combined this project with several other sidewalk projects that are in the area just because they're due to similar scope and trying to get a scale of economy to advertise multiple projects at the same time. This one is currently out on the street for bids. Bids are due on October 27th, and provided those bids fit within our budget, we'll be awarding the contract to go to construction. For the Fleming Road sidewalk, this is installation of about 675 feet of sidewalk from Maybank down to Standard Way. We're looking at a $700,000 construction cost for this project. Currently, we've discovered we probably need to do some additional survey for our drainage outfall that's extending past our initial project limits. So we're working to gather that data as well as work with the property owners to obtain the necessary slope permissions for the project. We anticipate advertising this project after the first of the year. For Frawley Road Bike and Ped Improvement Project, this is installation of sidewalks along Fawley Road from Ellis Creek down to George Griffith Boulevard, along with the restriping of Fawley Road. We're looking at about $5.5 million cost for this project. Utility coordination has been completed. We've got the last little bit of right of way we're trying to wrap up. We haven't been able to reach agreement with those landowners, so we're having to go through the eminent domain process. We hope to have that wrapped up in the next month or so, and then we'll be advertising for this project for bids before the end of the year. Fort Johnson at Camp improvements. This is where we're converting this intersection to a roundabout to help improve safety at this intersection. Estimated cost for this project is about $1.8 million. Right now, we are currently going back and forth with the DOT, addressing their last comments regarding the right-of-way plan, and hope to receive their approval on the plan shortly. Next, we'll be moving into the right-of-way acquisition phase and anticipate advertising this project in early 2024. For Fort Johnson and Secessionville, this will be converting this intersection to a traffic signal along with dedicated turn lanes. We're looking about almost a $3.5 million cost for this project. Again, we're wrapped up with this right away and final plans are completed. We're working to obtain the encroachment permit from the DOT, and then we'll be sending this project out for advertisement before the end of the year as well. All right, Main Road Segment A. This is the widening of Main Road from pretty much Bees Ferry, I guess, all the way down to Chisholm Road, along with the new interchange and flyovers there at 17. Right now, we're anticipating the cost to exceed $150 million. We're kind of wait to see where the bids come back with our design build team. We're currently still working through the process of this design build procurement. Right now, we've got our permit submitted to the Corps of Engineers, so we're waiting to hear back on that. And we're hoping to let the design build contract and get started on the final design and procurement for construction by the third quarter of 2024. That's all coming from the second transportation sales tax.
So for that project, it at least it's felt like, because I represent Johns Island, it's felt like getting the bid out has been kind of slipping on the deadline. Just what's caused that, out of curiosity? Because that was supposed to be
quite
going out to
honestly, we
bid.
just had an issue going back and forth with design builders and their sureties regarding the bonding language for a project, and trying to work with them to come up with amenable language that protects the county, but also is swallowable for the design builders, and they're acceptable with that as well.
Okay.
So that's been major delays, just going back and forth with them and their attorneys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
this would be a major impact.
when would construction be estimated by?
Sorry, flip back here. So I think we're thinking about at least another year for them to kind of finalize plans from where we've got them. So you're probably looking at construction probably mid 25.
Okay. Because I think from the point that funding was identified to like now has been almost 12 years, somewhere in that variety.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say our average project is taking about 8 years to go from inception to completion, just with everything that's involved. Yeah. Yeah. Next is our Maybank and Woodland Shores Complete Streets project. This is really installation of a mid-block crossing on Maybank there, right near where the poorhouse is, along with some additional sidewalk down along Woodland Shores Drive. Cost for this project for both of these is about $2.5 million. Final plans under review at the DOT, as well as to working to get our encroachment permits, and then anticipate advertising this project by the end of the year. For the Oceanic Street multi-use path, again, multi-use path from the Skate Charleston Park down to a proposed entrance for the Magnolia development. We're looking about a $450,000 cost for this project. This is another project that's being combined with one I mentioned earlier with the Ashley Ave and East Bay, try to get an economy of scale for some of these bids. And we'll see where those come in before the end of the month. For the Romney Street bike lane, this is installing bike lanes on Romney Street, pretty much from Meeting down to Morrison Drive. We're looking about $150,000 cost for this. And we're currently working with the DOT to obtain those encroachment permits. Next, we'll be finalizing the plans and getting that out for advertisement after the first of the year. I think it might be a little bit of curb work and some striping. I had to go through the plans myself to kind of familiarize myself. The project manager was out of the office today, so that was my best guess on the approximate cost based on what I've seen from the plans.
I believe it's a combination of sharrows and a dedicated bike lane.
And that's all including, design and all as well. Next is our St. Philip Street and Cumming Street mid-block crossing. This will be a signalized mid-block crossing, both at St. Philip and at Cumming Street. We're looking about $120,000 costs for these. And this is, again, these was one of these that was combined with several other sidewalk projects, and we're waiting to get bids back.
Those combined projects, and when you get the bids back, do you have a priority list in terms of which order they go in, or you leave that to the contractor?
No, we leave that to the contractor, but we do have it set up where each one can also be treated as a separate project. So, if we get bids that are higher over one, we can end up, maybe we'll just rebid that project and we can accept the bids on the other three, or, some combination thereof.
I'm not gonna hold you this. How many projects are in that multi-bid packet? I've been counting. Is it 3 or 4? I mean, is it
I
two
believe it
Ashley
is
Avenue?
4 total. It's Ashley Ave, East Bay, Oceanic, and then St. Philip and Cumming.
So there's really 5 because there's 2 on Ashley Avenue, right?
Yes.
Okay, the last one you had, that one's just right in the middle of college campus. It would seem to me that might be one that we want to start first.
Okay.
And that has also been on the books for 12 years at least, anyway. Great, it's all good news, thank you.
All right, so the Savage Road sidewalk, this will be sidewalk between Etowah Avenue and the first entrance to Castlewood. Then pedestrians will be directed to use the existing sidewalk infrastructure within the Castlewood neighborhood. And then we're installing a second phase of that sidewalk there from Castlewood all the way out to Henry Tecklenburg Drive. Looking at almost $1 million cost for this project. A lot of that has to do with having to pipe some drainage ditches. Right now, our plans have pretty much been finalized, and we're working with the 3 remaining property owners to get the slope permissions. Anticipate advertising this project after the first of the year. For our Stalker Chadwick Drive capacity improvements, these are some bike and ped upgrades to both Stalker and the Chadwick intersections on Savannah Highway. Estimated cost is a little over $200,000. Again, the plans have been finalized. We're pretty much working on drafting the invitation for bids and send off to a procurement division and then advertise this most likely in the next 30 days. For Sunset Drive at the West Ashley Greenway, this is pretty much installation of a raised crosswalk with that rapid rectangular flashing beacon. So at least, make traffic aware, hey, there's a pedestrian trying to cross the road here. Estimated costs of these are, say, relatively cheap at only $50,000. We're currently reaching out to contractors for quotes and anticipate advertising this one before the end of the year. Next is our Sycamore Avenue and bike and ped improvements. Sidewalk on 61 from West Ashley Greenway at Sycamore Ave. Another almost $700,000 project here. Again, combined with some other similar projects, not the ones we've mentioned before, though. And this one's getting ready to go out for advertisement in the next 30 days. And so that's quite a long list of projects that are getting ready to go out for advertisement. We'll have a lot of work out on the street here. We're actually having to try to slowly release these out to the public and out onto the street, because if we just can't flood the market with 30 projects all at once. So we're slowly kind of getting them out there. Next is kind of these other projects we're working on that will be coming to advertisement in the next year or so. First is Air Harbor drainage improvements. This is improving the drainage conditions in the Air Harbor neighborhood out in West Ashley. Looking to increase the pipe size and create new outfalls to prevent flooding. Some of the cost of the project is to be determined because we're still trying to figure out where we're going to route the drainage, whether that's going to be within existing railroad old easements there, or possibly in connection with the I-526 extension. So currently we're working on our technical memo to kind of determine that best route. And once we get that underway, we'll work to complete design work and do the coordination with CWS and acquire the necessary permitting so we can go to construction. For our Central Park Basin drainage improvements, another drainage improvement project consisting mainly of installing a larger box culvert with some tidal valves underneath Central Park Road. Current cost for this project is almost $4.5 million. We did just recently receive a grant for about $3.4 million and some additional funding from the CTC program to make this a viable project. We're currently working through the permitting process and then finalize design and anticipate going to construction and having it completed before 26, since that's one of the requirements for the grant funding.
Was that a resiliency grant that you got, or where, do you have any idea where that money came from?
I'm not sure exactly. I'll have to check on that. Just rural infrastructure grant.
I mean, just because the combination of flooding relief and road improvements, it gives you a lot of leeway to seek different funding sources, right?
Yeah, I believe it was mainly a flood relief type grant program that we got
I
funded to do
think
this.
they administered the state ARPA funding
Gotcha.
for water projects. I bet that's what this is.
Through the resiliency office.
It came through the SCRIA.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Next is a Central Park Road at Riverland Drive. This is installation of the crosswalk turn lanes and again, those rectangular rapid flashing beacons to help improve safety for all the modes of transportation in this area, both motorists and pedestrians. Project cost for this one is about $1.5 million, and the right-of-way plans are currently under review with right-of-way acquisition to follow once we receive SCDOT's approval. Following that, we got to go through the right-of-way acquisition, and then we're looking to advertise this project by the end of next year. For the city golf course crossing and sidewalk connection there to municipal golf course, pretty much, was it that hawk signal we're putting in there, right? Correct? It's kind of another like flashing beacon to stop traffic there so golf carts and pedestrians can cross there. Estimated construction cost is north of $707,000. Preliminary plans have been finalized and we're getting ready to present to the Golf Commission for their review and approval. Following that, we'll work to finalize our plans and anticipate advertisement third quarter of 24. For the doo-wop drainage improvements, this is actually a city-led project that's going to improve the drainage in the doo-wop neighborhoods. More recently, we provided about $1 million in funding from the county. My understanding is design work is underway and the city is working on their easement acquisitions. And the next step is pretty much to acquire those easements, finalize design and permitting, and move forward towards construction. Next is our King Street comprehensive traffic review. This was initially a safety study looking for improvements for both motorists and pedestrians along King Street. It sounds like we've kind of finalized on looking to relocate the traffic signal that's currently at the intersection of Sumter Street over to Carolina Street. We're looking at a project cost about $250,000 for this one. And right now we're working to acquire a design consultant to get design underway.
So can you tell us just really quickly what the scope of the comprehensive traffic review was? What were you actually looking at? Because, you know, the SCDOT did their road safety audit in the same corridor. So I just want to know if there's.
I will admit, sir, I am just not familiar with this project and
Okay.
I don't know enough background to tell you what the study all encompassed.
All right, maybe the mayor knows something about this one.
And Robbie does, but I think
Okay,
the
so-
review on this was the way upper King Street, above the crosstown, above the above Line
Above
Street.
Line Street.
Yeah,
So like by the
so,
recovery room and all that?
That's correct.
Okay,
so the DOT study went from Line Street south and this study went from Line Street north
okay.
It basically went from Line Street to Hugie Street.
on the Hugie.
Yes, sir.
Next is our main road corridor segment C. This is again a continuation of that main road project, which would pick up really at just north of the intersection there with Maybank at Brownswood Road and continue those widening, a 4-lane widening all the way down to Edenvale. The widening would stop there and we would just continue with the 10-foot multi-use path all the way down to the intersection with River Road. Cost in this project to still be determined. We're still working through some, preliminary alternatives and hope to hold a public meeting in the early 2024 to get some more public feedback and settle on our preferred alternative. Right now, we're looking at costs could range anywhere from, $50 million to possibly $80 million based on the design we end up moving forward with. Currently, we have a grand tree survey underway to kind of identify potential tree impacts, so we can also present that to the public at our meeting. Next is the North Bridge Bike and Ped improvements. This was actually a construction of that new bike and ped bridge from the North Bridge Park over and connecting with Azalea Drive. This was about a $46 million project. We had submitted this twice now for raise grants, and both times where we were unsuccessful, unfortunately. We did just recently have a debrief with the DOT and got some really good feedback on how we can kind of strengthen our application for the next round. However, we don't have any funding for that just yet, so we're still kind of waiting for direction from council on how to proceed with this project moving forward. For the Old Town transportation improvements, this is improving the Orange Grove at Sam Rittenberg intersections, as well as bike and ped improvements throughout the corridor with the merge down there. Total project cost for both, for actually been split in phases for design work, but total cost for the project is about $16.2 million. We're currently working on right-of-way plan approval with the DOT. Following that, we'll be starting right-of-way acquisitions, developing final plans, acquiring the permits necessary, and then going to advertisement probably third quarter of 2024. Next is Savannah Highway capacity improvements. This is targeting several intersections on US 17, at DuPont Road and Stinson, at Wapu, as well as in Avondale area at Magnolia and Avondale Avenue, really to try to reduce congestion and improve safety. Don't have costs on all three of those intersections just yet because we're still working through some preliminary design plans. Right now, the survey work has been completed. As I said, preliminary plans are under design. And for DuPont, Stinson, and Wapu, we have not started work yet on the improvements to the Avondale area. Mainly for that is we are waiting for the city to finish their right-of-way acquisitions. We plan to hold a public meeting with the citizens in the area to explain the plans and our process moving forward, and then go ahead and finish up design work and move forward with right-of-way acquisition following that. Next is Savannah Highway at the Savage Road. This is a right turn lane extensions both from 17 onto Savage Road and as well as on Savage Road onto 17, along with some sidewalk improvements. We're looking over $1 million cost for this project. We're currently working with Dominion and CWS on their relocations, and we are still working to acquire the last remaining slope permissions necessary from property owners. Right now, we're anticipate advertising this project in the second quarter of 2024. And that wraps it up. So I'd be happy to take any questions. Nope, thank you. Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Really interesting. Thank you. Something for everybody. Any questions?
Could I just, first of all, thank you for our partnership, because I know we worked with y'all on many of these projects. Could you kindly share a copy of the slide deck with Robbie?
Yes. Yes.
So we could have, I can't remember all of those at one time.
In fact, I have copies for all of you. So.
Yeah, thank you.
But how many project managers do y'all have?
I think right now, off the top of my head, I'd say close to about 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a heavy workload for the staff we have. I'll say that. I mean, we've got a lot going on.
No kidding.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you all for
Are you
all
having
that.
trouble finding contractors, or you?
I would say yes, it is becoming difficult because there's so much work out there on the street. And to be quite honest, there really isn't enough contractors to do the work. So I mean, it's reflecting in the bid prices as well.
Yeah. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Super
Certainly.
interesting. Appreciate it. So we'll look forward to getting a copy of that presentation.
Will do.
Great.
Thank you for so
Come
much.
back anytime.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, next, moving right along, approval of a memorandum of agreement for the City of Charleston Municipal Golf Course Project. That was on the list. Someone want to tell us about that? Mr. Somerville? Ms. Coulthard? Here we go. Woohoo.
Good afternoon. I am standing in for Mallory Shear, who couldn't be here today, so I might have to phone a friend for any questions. But this is an agreement to add safety features to the entrance of the municipal golf course. It will include adding a high-intensity activated crosswalk beacon across Maybank Highway, which will require the realignment of the Muni's entrance driveway. The total cost for the design is $86,908.60. The city is agreeing to commit up to $25,000.
Okay, and the rest county. And for those on the committee, you should have a copy of the proposed memorandum of agreement in front of you, which I think that's right, $86,000 total project, 25,000 to the city. Any, no questions? I don't think we have any questions. I think we need a motion on this.
Motion
one.
to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. There you go. Yeah, but you might be able to get there faster, so you're not late for your tea time. There you go. All right, next, resolution to defer requirements for production of insurance coverage from pedicab applicants.
This is mine.
This one is yours, and you know all about it.
Okay, so in March, council voted to issue 6 nighttime pedicab decals. And the process for doing that is in 2 phases. The first phase is the application phase where we pre-qualify potential bidders. The second phase is the actual bid phase. We put it out to bid, they propose their bid, and we accept it. During the application phase, as the ordinance is currently written, the applicants are required to provide confirmation of their insurance. And the ordinance provides certain insurance requirements. So we put it out for bid we put it out for pre-qualifications in May. We received 5 responses. We have been reviewing those applications since then. And in that review, staff has determined that perhaps our insurance requirements should be reevaluated in light of the current commercial market. And so we are asking council to defer the requirement that the applicants provide insurance confirmation until we select the winning bidders, or bids. So if that's approved, what will happen is we'll go ahead and pre-qualify those as long as they meet all the requirements except for the insurance requirements. Then staff will evaluate the insurance provisions. Will either come to you with suggested amendments or, hey, the insurance requirements are valid, we're good to go. Then we will put it out to bid with the new insurance requirements or just leave them the same as they are right now.
We'll put it out to bid or we'll award it.
Put it out to bid.
Okay.
Because we want them to know what the insurance requirements are if they're going to change prior to them bidding.
Okay. So this is just gonna be doing the pre-qualification process. We're gonna waive the insurance requirements.
Correct.
Okay, Councilmember Greg.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If perhaps they can't get the insurance that we require, so we pre-qualify these firms, let's say there are 4 or 5 pre-qualified firms. If one of them can't get the insurance that we require, then they just won't be allowed to bid in the actual RFP. Is that kind of how that would work?
Well, they shouldn't bid on it unless they can meet the insurance requirements.
All right, so it would be, we'd consider it non-responsive if they can't meet the insurance requirements.
Correct. Let's say that they say they can meet the insurance requirements. We accept their bid, then we ask them to provide proof and they can't, then they'll be disqualified.
Thank you.
It just allows us to move the process forward as we sort out this conundrum.
Yep.
All right.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve and we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Great, thank you. Next, Johnson Taxi Services LLC, Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity for a Taxi.
Yes, sir. We have
It's
one.
got your name on it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We have one application for approval. It's Johnson Taxi Services. This was a company that was approved before. They sort of stopped operations for a while and they've changed their names and they've come back and they want to reapply. So the legal team has taken a look at it and everything seems to be in order. So we would recommend approval.
All right. Can I get a motion? Second.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next, traffic calming on Dulce Road.
Yes, sir. This is an application for traffic calming on Dulce Road. We determined that they meet all of our requirements. You can see in the handout that's in your packet, all the data that's associated with this one. We would recommend approval for 2 speed humps on this street.
All right, 2 speed humps for Dulce Road. Have a motion?
Move for approval.
Can I get a second? Second. Any discussion, any questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. My understanding is number 8, which was requested by Councilmember Parker. I don't know if she's online or not. Is she? No? Okay. Also, I think she's agreed. We're going to defer this one.
That is correct.
Can I
I
get a
talked
motion
to
to
her.
defer this one? We're going to go back and see whether or not speed calming or stop signs are appropriate. Get back with the neighborhood. So we're going to address it, just so Councilmember Parker knows, but we're going to defer it so long as I can get a motion to defer.
Move for deferral.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. So we'll defer this. Mr. Somerville, I'll let you get with the records of people, including Councilmember Parker, and get back to us on that. Yes, sir. All right, great. I see we've come to the end of our agenda. Is there anything for the common good? I see Mr. Somerville has his hand up. Start with him and then we'll go to Councilmember Gray.
Just one last item. We submitted for a grant in strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transportation, a SMART grant, in the amount of $914,550.10. This grant was due today. So we will have the formal application at the next council meeting. But in time restraints, we had to go ahead and submit the request. There's no city match involved in this, so we're requesting council's approval to move forward with this grant.
Can you give me the amount of that grant?
It was $914,550.10.
Thank you. Got it. Okay, so you're asking for us to approve the filing of that grant, submitting
Basically.
the grant. Good. Can I get a motion, please?
Move for approval. Second.
Any discussion, any questions for Mr. Somerville? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. Go forward and succeed on that. Now, I saw Councilmember Gregg had his hand up.
Yeah, would it be possible to get Berkeley County to do a similar presentation to what Charleston County did today on their CPC? I know that I am currently the only member of council representing Berkeley County.
No, no, no.
Soon to be two. But I think it'd be nice to have a presentation from Berkeley County on what they're doing in the city as well.
Maybe an idea is for you or you and I to get on the phone with Mr. Whitley and see if he can place a call in for us, or the mayor's got someone in mind. We can get someone here. It'd be great to hear what's going on the city side of Berkeley County, because today was super helpful, I think.
It's very informative. Mr. O'Brien, of course, is on that committee, the CTC committee for Berkeley County. I think maybe it'd be appropriate to ask Mr. O'Brien to make the request.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do it.
Sounds good.
We'll make that happen.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments for the greater good? If not, by acclamation, we are hereby adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.